Topic and where it's going, and I'm not going to give you any more than that. And before we get rolling, I just have to inform James that I think your phone is on vibrate on the table.
No, it wasn't the phone.
Something was buzzing over here.
Our new
Okay.
camera is vibrating.
Not sure what that is.
Sean Keys, I did not know you were in Windsor, Ontario. I'm from Toronto originally. I had no idea. I drive through Windsor all the time. When I lived in Chicago, I would drive, to and from Toronto to Chicago, and I would drive through Windsor all the time. We love Windsor.
Yeah, I've never been to Windsor.
Windsor's a great town.
But maybe I've been to Windsor. I've driven down through Michigan to get across Canada by car. So I'm assuming I've gone that way, right?
That's absolutely
Okay.
Windsor.
I was
Absolutely.
like 12.
It's the gateway to Michigan.
12 years old. I can't remember.
So guys, let's go. 5 ways actually to make 2017 your, wherever you're watching from, breakthrough year. I'm tripping out with all these cameras right now. We're going to get started with the first one because actually I want to enumerate all 5.
Yeah.
So everybody knows where we're coming from, okay? So number 1 is know yourself. Number 2 is eliminate your own limits. Number 3 is talk. What does that mean? Number 4, learn your language. And number 5, understand versus relate, which is
My
Carrie's
all-time favorite.
favorite, right? So I'm really tripping out now what camera to look at, but I'm having a ball. Give us a little love if you're excited to get going on these 5 things you need to do to make sure 2017 is a great. You're looking at my lips again.
No, I'm looking at
She
you.
always looks at my lips.
Well, they're right there.
I have no problem with that. I'm not complaining with the lip looking, by the way.
I don't know. I was just going to say that...
I have to stop you.
Okay, what?
Because Sophia says you're looking gorgeous, and boy, isn't she?
Thank you, Sophia.
I wake up to this.
He doesn't wake up to this.
My life doesn't suck.
I don't look this way when I roll.
My life doesn't suck. Anyways. Should we get rolling on number 1?
Yes, and Mark Testa thinks you have nice lips.
Thanks, man. Dr. T.
One day we'll get Clay Hebert on here and we'll have a whole lip fest.
And Dr. T knows what good looking lips are, so I'm just going to say that.
I think we should get rolling.
Yeah,
Let's get
so
rolling.
for whatever camera you are currently watching us on, the 5 ways to make 2017 your breakthrough year. Number 1 is know yourself. Okay, so let me start by detailing a story you've heard before, and perhaps you guys have as well. But it's a story of myself in Australia in 2006. I was touring Melbourne, doing a lot of live shows. And the organizer of the event took all of the presenters out for dinner one night. It was one of those amazing moments. And I think that everyone listening and watching right now can relate because we've all had those moments that have changed our lives.
Yeah.
And you end up remembering every single detail. I mean, I remember what I ate at the restaurant. It was a piece of salmon with some raw spinach. I remember that the waiter asked, because the chef had asked, the waiter to ask me if I wanted a little bit of olive oil over the spinach, and I said no. I remember the noise of the cars behind us because we were sitting on an outdoor terrace. I remember everything about it because I was having this amazing conversation with just a wonderful guy, Douglas, who's become a very good friend of mine. He lives in South Africa. And we were talking about language and the informality of language and how much language has become such just an informal aspect. We pass each other in the street and we say, hey, how you doing? Or hey, what's up? Stuff that's just so informal and so not at all deep.
I was going to say deep.
Right?
Would be the exact word that I would use. Yeah.
Right? Not meaningful. So much so that I can go now and say that if I was passing a neighbor or if you were passing a neighbor, in the street, you said, hey, how you doing? And your neighbor, who you don't know very well necessarily, says, actually, Brian, I'm not doing that well. Let's be honest with each other, right? No matter what this makes me look like, because if you're honest, you're going to agree this is exactly the mental note you'd have first. You're in a hurry, getting to work, and pick up your kids, whatever it is. Actually, Brian, I'm not doing that well right now. My first thought is, oh fuck, now I have to talk to this guy.
I want to add that forget about a neighbor who you don't know, but your friends.
Yeah.
And your family. I mean, I think that so many people have experienced that in general with anybody in your life, right?
Absolutely.
The nature of, being within ourselves and not really wanting to listen.
Yes, because we're always on the go to work, to pick up the kids, to the gym, to wherever we're going. So as it stands, Douglas and I'm purposely shortening this story because I can take half an hour.
It's a beautiful story.
It is. But essentially what Douglas taught me that day is that there's a word in the Zulu culture, it's Sawubona. Okay, Sawubona. And it means I see you. And it's a very formal greeting in that culture, that when you pass somebody, you don't just say, hey, what's up, what's cracking, how you doing? You say Sawubona. And the two people pause for a moment, and they truly see themselves. They see each other, they pay attention to each other, and they exchange the moments in the beautiful aspect of what that moment should represent, which is people taking each other in. So, I mean, that was gorgeous and beautiful, and I loved everything about it, and it reshaped my life. But, it's funny, you say you reshape my life, and then you kind of move on. But I'm getting to a point with this particular story.
How it's going to reshape your life.
Exactly, right? So, on the plane ride home from Melbourne to Chicago is when I had the major epiphany that I realized that Sawubona is a beautiful philosophy. It's a beautiful tenant. It's a beautiful thing to extend to other people. But do we extend it to ourselves?
Right.
The first person I see every single morning is myself. I go to the bathroom, I brush my teeth, and I look in the mirror, and there I am. But do I really know myself? Do I really know what drives me, what inspires me, what frictions energetically I don't want in my life, but kind of just tolerate? Do I really know myself? And that is the crucible. That is the number one way to make 2017 your breakthrough year. There is no should, there is no have to, there is no must in life. You get 80 some odd years to go around this amazing merry-go-round, and not 1 second of it should be spent unaware of how you really feel, what you really think, what truly inspires you, pursuing what you truly want. Not 1 second of it should be spent unaware to those things. And when we started peeling back the layers and understanding ourselves better, our relationship enhanced, our parenting enhanced, our business exploded.
Right.
Everything changed when we decided to make understanding ourselves the most important factor in our lives.
Absolutely. I think that as always, we know what we're going to talk to you guys about on a given Friday. But I always walk into our live streams having an idea of what I wanted to say with regards to each topic, and they always shift based on what you say. And I mentioned that last week as well. And with that, my thoughts on the matter have shifted today. And what I want to share is actually the time of my life that I didn't know myself. And you're going to remember this so well. We had just recently gotten together, and it was maybe like 6 months in. We were sitting in our kitchen at the end of the day having a conversation, which we often do. Like, that's still how we spend our day. The room has just changed. We're in a different room now when we do it.
Yes.
But we were at the end of the day, we were talking, we were having this beautiful conversation, and we were actually investigating some of my own career choices and what I wanted to do. And you asked me, I remember this so vividly because I started bawling my eyes out.
It's the first time I'd seen you cry that hard.
Right. You asked me, you were like, what do you want?
Yeah.
And I said, I have no idea. Like, I didn't know. I had no idea. I had lost so much of myself. I had no idea who I was that I couldn't even answer the question. So, you were asking me a question that was related to business, but really and truly it was a much deeper question insofar as understanding who I am, knowing what I wanted, and then being able to create that. That moment of feeling like a lost puppy is really what I felt like at that moment.
It's a great point.
But yes, absolutely, know yourself is.
It is. I mean, we can walk an entire lifetime without knowing what we're actually thinking. We can walk an entire lifetime without knowing what we're actually feeling. We can walk an entire lifetime having friction in our energies and in our physical output without realizing they're even there.
Right.
When we started to understand our thoughts, understand our emotions, be aware of them perhaps for the first time in our entire lives, pay attention to energy frictions. Where were we doing things in our world, in our days, that just didn't feel good for us? When we started bringing awareness to all of that, our whole lives changed. That is the number one way to ensure that 2017 is your breakthrough year. Get to know yourself.
Absolutely.
Okay, so James, with that is episode 1 for right now.
Yeah, I'm going to pause to say hey to Jim Quick and Jesse Elder, who also popped in. Good morning, guys.